Thank you, Sue. I won't do a long speech. Most of you know the story behind Meccano now, that it was bought 2 years ago. And when that first happened, I think we were all a bit worried about where that was going to go. The evidence is in the hall today. At that point, they said that they would relaunch the brand for Christmas 15. So they had thought about this months before they bought the brand, and they were obviously in negotiations behind the scenes for a long time. But while they were doing that, they put in place a plan which they have followed almost to the letter from that day. They honoured the models that were already in production and walked through the new models. All this is going to roll out over the next year or so, because what you see on our stand at the hall is the new range of Meccano. That is every single model that is now going to be in the range from this point on. Nothing on that table in that packaging is available at the moment. It will all be available come August, September as the rollout comes through, and that will slowly replace everything else. You'll also notice that there's a branding continuity right the way from the small £5 single models up to the mechanoid robots, and they all look like they came from the same stable, but they're in a similar design box. Not only have they redesigned the graphics on the box, they make the boxes so that you can open them and close them again. We went through a long period of opening a box and destroying it, and going back to what I said earlier, Meccano is a toy, and they are toy producers, and they want people to come and buy the thing again. Well, if little Johnny has bought his small Meccano set, he's ripped the box open, got fed up with it 10 minutes later, the rest of it goes up Hoover, and then Dad doesn't want to buy it because there's no value for money and they've got no continuous market. So they're trying to make all those sort of things easier. I think you'll agree, if you look at the range, the models are much more appealing now than they have been for a long time. And you can look at a model and you know what it is. They went through a stage where a 20 model set was started off with something you recognise, and they needed 20 models that used all the parts. So bits were bolted on, and other models you didn't know what they were, because of the multilingual manuals, they don't actually say what they are. The new models are much more obvious, but they also don't use every part in the box. So there's simpler models for people to start off with, and it carries on like that. Now, going forward, they're going to carry on producing new models each year. They're going to support us with things like the big yellow crane that you may have seen, which is aimed at us enthusiasts. It's not aimed at the toy market, so it won't be on sale in Toys R Us and places like that. It's aimed at us, and we will order it, mail order from wherever, wherever it happens to be in the world. So they're supporting us with that. They're supporting us with the fact that they've openly said that the copy manufacturers, the repro people, can copy all their parts. They've got no problem at all as long as they don't stamp Meccano on, and allow us to supply our own spare parts, because they're not interested in spare parts. It's not just because Spin Master and Meccano are not interested in spare parts. There's no infrastructure in the retail trade to actually sell them anymore. So, they do everything they can to help us with our hobby, but they can't actually sell spare parts. The whole idea is to get the brand going. Now, it always was a toy. As I said, when we were first introduced to it, it was introduced to us as a toy. We made it into the hobby that we've got today. It wasn't Meccano who suggested we should build great big cranes and put lots of sets together and parts and do that. That was what we did. And the reason we did it is because we were happy with it as a kid, as a toy, and we've taken it through into our adult life. That didn't happen for decades, and that's what they're trying to do now. Re-establish the brand. You'll see television advertising all over the place, rolling out up till Christmas, when they do the big launch, which is, as I said, Christmas 15. And it will just carry on from there. So, I believe that, they're doing a lot of good. I think it's one of the best owners Meccano's had for years. They've certainly got pockets that are deep enough to do it. Look at the new robot, like him or hate him. There's a huge piece of investment there, They've developed a whole new system. They've got a whole new system of parts. They've got all the electronics, all the software, all the hardware issues. All that's been done to produce a complete new range of a model. And they haven't had a penny for that yet. It's not on sale yet. And they've got that amount of commitment to the brand that they will put their money where their mouth is. As far as the future is concerned, it's going to be more of the same. They're going after the franchise. They've got the Thunderbirds franchise, which is an A-grade franchise that everybody knows. There are other franchises coming along, which I can't tell you about yet because they haven't been fully agreed. But again, they're brand names that everybody in this room will know. They're not things like rabbits, which I had to look up to find out what they were when I first saw them. Okay, all the kids may have known what they were, but I didn't know what they were, and neither would the dads, and the granddads. We wouldn't know what they were. So they're completely aware of that. They've done a couple of things that you probably may not have noticed yet, but one of the big bugbears for the modern sets was what we call the fat axles. You couldn't get the parts on the end of the axles. It's been going on for years. And also the axles were too short. If you actually measured the axle, it's usually 2 or 3 millimeters short. And this was a production problem that had been ignored for years. We pointed it at them, I don't mean Sue and I mean us, we said to them last year that this was a problem. And lots of people have complained about it and they've sorted it out. If you look at all the new kits, all those axles are now ground so that they actually fit. It's a small thing, but it means it works. If we've got any complaints, they will listen. They sorted out the manuals. They're not perfect. They never are going to be perfect. But we all said to them, why do you keep turning the thing round? If you look at the manuals of 10 years ago, because they could on CAD design, they just turned all different angles, trying to work out where you were going. And they now keep it orientated to where it should be. Another problem was all the blacks you couldn't see. And they sat there pondering this for ages, and then they suddenly realised that if they made the black outline, which has got a dark grey infill, white, you could actually see the things. It's not rocket science, but these guys looked at it logically and said, well, that's what we're doing. They took it one stage further. To actually make it stand out in the manual, they left what you'd already done with a black outline and put what you're about to do with a white outline. So you look at the drawing, and the only thing that is clear is the white outline, which is the next bit you do. And again, these are all suggestions that came from you guys that they've just followed through and made good. And they still will. So if you've got any other complaints about modern Meccano, then let them know direct or let us know through us, and things will get fixed. I'll finish there because I know you're all bored stiff. Yeah, I know, it's just going to... What Sue's just reminded me about, which I was going to say anyway, is that Fraser apologises for not being here. He was going to be here, being an expat. As far as he's concerned, it's a great excuse to get back here and see his family. Because of the launch at Christmas, they're all running around like headless chickens. They all enjoy their work, but they are all pushed to the limit out there. They really do work hard. Anybody who does less than sort of 50 hours a week is a wimp. They don't regard that as doing their job, And they follow it through hard. And him and all the team are working on this Christmas release stuff, so they couldn't get over here this year, but they will probably come back next year. And that's it really. If anybody's got any questions about where Meccano is going to go from here, then let me know, so you know. And we can tell you. We can only tell you about what's current and what's coming up immediately, because the toy trade is like any other industry, and we're not allowed to talk about the stuff that's happening in 2 years' time. 2 reasons: there's the commercial interest, but there's also the fact that they might change their mind and we won't do it. So we have to go along with it. But all I can say is we know what's happening for the following year, and I'm sure that most of you will like it because it's not a bad thing. Everything they're doing is good. The crane is only the first of models designed for us, using conventional parts and bits and pieces. They've got to put some commercial interest in it. That crane's got a programmable system in it where you'll be able to control it and make it remember things and this sort of thing. But they're building new technology into the brand, and that's the only way they're going to sell it. So that's it from me. So thank you very much for listening and putting up with us. And if you've got any questions, come and see us on the stand or come and see us after the meeting. Thanks very much.